This book is called Regions and Rivers of Georgia. So we have our table of contents over here. Road trip, 5 regions, exploring rivers, Georgia on my mind, justify it, and then we get our glossary and our index. Glossary is going to tell us what the words mean. Index is going to have specific words and tell us where to find it in the book. Road trip. If you could go anywhere in Georgia, where would you go? Would you swim in the ocean? Would you take a hike in the woods? Would you fish on a lake? In Georgia, you can do all of these things and more. Georgia has shorelines, mountains, and lakes. There are forests and fields. It has rivers, rocks, and ridges. It is a beautiful state. The state of Georgia has 5 main regions. These are large areas of land. Each area has different features. Each region has its own landscape. That is what the land looks like. Each region has its own climate. That is what the weather is like. Plant and animal life can be different in each region too. So I notice that we have pictures and we have labels for these pictures to tell us what they are. So at the bottom, this is coastal plain, valley and ridge. We have the Appalachian with the pronunciation key, Appalachian Plateau, the Blue Ridge Mountains, the Piedmont, which also has a pronunciation key, Piedmont. These bold words are going to be found in the glossary. Appalachian Plateau. The Appalachian Plateau is in the northwest corner of the state. The Appalachian mountain chain is long. It starts north of New York. It ends in Alabama. It helps form this region. A plateau is an area of high, flat land. Because it is so high here, it is often colder than in the rest of the state. There may even be snow in the winter. So there's a map of Georgia that shows you where the Appalachian Plateau is, up in the northwest corner. Here we have a picture with a text box. A great view. From the top of Lookout Mountain, some say you can see 7 states at one time. And here's our label for Lookout Mountain. Blue Ridge Mountains. The Blue Ridge are part of the Appalachian chain. Blue Ridge has some of the tallest peaks in the chain, and they really do look blue. This area gets a lot of rain. It's very wet there. The land is covered in forests. Black bears and wild boars roam the region. You may even see a turkey. So here we are. The Blue Ridge Mountains are in the northeast corner of the state. The tallest mountain in Georgia is Brasstown Bald. It is 4,784 feet tall. Valley and ridge. This region is made up of valleys and ridges. A valley is a lowland between mountains. A ridge is an area of long, thin land at the top of a mountain. The valleys have rich soil. They are perfect for farming. The ridges are covered in pine trees. This area has lots of caves. Frogs, snakes, and crayfish live in this region. So if you look down here at the map, it's right next to the Blue Ridge area. There are your valleys. Next is the Piedmont. The Piedmont region is in the center of the state. Many people live there, In fact, more people live there than in any other region. There are low rolling hills in this region. There are also many streams and rivers. There are even waterfalls. The soil here is red and rocky. You can see large rocks peeking out from under the ground. There's the Piedmont region, right in the middle here. Stone Mountain is the world's largest piece of exposed granite that is right here. That's Stone Mountain. And then this is downtown Atlanta. Now, they aren't literally that close to each other. This is actually a separate picture right here. Coastal Plain. The coastal plain is the largest region in the state. It stretches all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. The winters are mild there, but the summers are hot and humid. There are often thunderstorms too. There can even be hurricanes. The soil is made of sand and clay. It is not good for growing crops. Instead, people use the land to grow pine trees. Here's our map of Georgia. There's the coastal plain down here. This fall line, it looks like, separates the Piedmont and the coastal plain. The northern border of the coastal plain is the fall line. Yep, this is a prehistoric coastline. There's those tall trees. And then these are, this is a close-up. These are pine trees. It's a long leaf pine tree. Exploring rivers. Georgia has many rivers. They twist and turn their way through the state. They help shape the land. The Ocmulgee River starts near Atlanta. It moves quickly over rocks as it flows south. Then it reaches the coastal plain and slows down. It meets with the Oconee River at a place called the Forks. There, a new river starts. So I'm using these to help me to pronounce these words that I may have never seen before. This is High Falls State Park. Beautiful little waterfall there. We've got the Chattahoochee, the Oconee, the Savannah. Here's the Altamala, St. Mary's. See, how I had to sound that out. Ocmulgee, and there's the Flint River. We're going to focus on the Flint, the Chattahoochee, and the Savannah. The Altamaha River starts at the Forks. It winds to the Atlantic Ocean. This area is full of swamps. Look out, alligators hide there, and snakes lurk in the water. There you go with your alligator down there. The Savannah River starts in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It rolls from the mountains to the ocean. There's a large city near the mouth of the river. Do you know its name? It's Savannah. So this is Savannah. There's the Savannah River with the label. Mouth. Not like the mouth on your face. We'll find out when we get to the glossary. The Chattahoochee River is very old. It starts high in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It flows southwest. People have lived on its banks for thousands of years. Banks are not where you put your money. Find out what that means in the glossary. Painted Rock. The Chattahoochee River's name comes from Creek Indian words meaning painted rock. The Flint River is long. It flows for about 350 miles. It starts in the Piedmont region. Here it is groundwater. In the glossary, we're going to find it. Next, it moves south. It goes under Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, then it runs across the coastal plain. And these people are paddling down the Flint River. The St. Mary's River is small, but it plays a big role. It acts as a border. It runs between Georgia and Florida. The St. Mary's River starts in the Okefenokee Swamp. It flows east. It heads toward the Atlantic Ocean. It has a black water stream. The water is clean, but it looks like dark tea. If you didn't know where the Okefenokee Swamp is, it's telling you that it's right there. And then the St. Mary's River is this white line right there. Here's another real photograph of the St. Mary's River. Georgia on my mind. Georgia has many landscapes. There's a lot to see and do. Sniff the salty sea air as you walk along the coast. Take in the views from the mountains. There's a famous song called Georgia on My Mind. Next time you take a trip through the state, play it. Try to figure out why it's a state song. It won't take you long. So here's Helton Creek Fall. There's Cloudland Canyon. And then here on the coast is Jekyll Island. All right, we're going to skip this part. Let's look at our glossary. Okay, those banks, not a place where we put our money. They're areas of higher ground that run along the edge of a river. Climate is the usual type of weather a place gets. Groundwater is water that is underground. Hurricanes are powerful and destructive storms with high winds. Landscape, an area of land that looks a certain way. Mouth, the place where a river meets the ocean. Plateau, a large area of flat land that is higher than the land around it. And regions, parts of an area that are different than other parts in some way. So here we have, let's say we were looking for the Chattahoochee River. I could find where they talk about the Chattahoochee River on pages 19 and 22. This is why you use an index. Let's say we want to look at the Appalachian Plateau. Look for those words. I can turn to page 7 and 8 without having to flip through the whole book to find what I'm looking for. I hope you enjoyed this book.